Hello and welcome to the first video of my new YouTube channel called AmInspec. AmInspec stands for Amusement Industry Specializations. It's a name I came up with while part of the sscoasters.net forums, which are dedicated to K'nex roller coasters. I think I came up with the name when I was maybe 14 or 15. It's unintentionally based off the Intamin name, as I think that stands for something similar. I can't quite recall. But I thought it would be an interesting thing to call my YouTube channel now that K'nex are making a way back into my life. So what I've been showing you while doing this intro and overview is my latest creation, which is an Intamin Accelerator coaster based on Xcelerator at Knott's Berry Farm. It's not going to be an exact recreation or anything, as you can see already from the direction that the pullout here is going, but it'll be inspired by it. A similar layout, a couple overbanks, maybe a buckle, an airtime hill or two. Nothing too fancy, but something very Intamin. To go through the ride more closely here, you can see I already have some of the rigging up for what will eventually turn into a launch. Got a couple of pulleys here. I mean, things are in place for what's required. Let's see if I can get a decent shot here of the track the catch car will run in. Let me move the train back. And yeah, we have an impromptu catch car in front of us, and as you can see, it's a little hard to get a view here, but the catch car sits between these three pieces of tubing. These are held in place by, well, the center tube is held in place by the cross ties, the green cross ties, and the two red side pieces are held in place by these half moon orange connectors from the original coaster sets. Let me get a better shot of the car here. You can see, well, it's stuck, but you can see that as it rolls down, there's no real rubbing on the channel for the catch car. So anyone that knows how Xcelerator coaster works, or you know, any kind of launch coaster, there's a new one called Max Force at Great America, my home park. But Xcelerator, Top Thrill Dragster, King to Ka, anything like that, you can imagine how this launch would work. A catch car would come back, attached to the train. The catch car is attached to usually a steel wire. For me, it'll be something strong enough that it won't snap, but hopefully something that doesn't stretch or wear either. I've heard other people use kite string. That sounds like a good idea. I'll have to experiment with a couple different materials. But either way, that will wind around a drum. You can kind of get a decent view of the drum in there. And that drum will pull the car down the train, or the train down the launch, and up the top hat. We'll get a closer view in at the mechanisms. You can see there's a pulley around the that's at about track level. That lines up relatively well with the center piece of tubing. Unfortunately, that's a little high for any of the K'nex rods to be able to go across or completely through the cross ties without hitting the train or the bogies on the train. So I needed to use a green rod here instead, I'll need to find a way to secure that. It's just kind of floating there now, but in the future I'll probably put some super glue on there or some hot glue and it'll be good enough. But you could see the wire will wrap around there, wrap around this lower pulley here, and to the top of the drum. The drum will be powered by some type of strong motor, something that will be able to propel it. I'll have to do some math to see what's strong enough and see what kind of forces we need here. The bottom end will be wrapped around the drum as well. Will come around these two pulleys, be redirected up to here through this one, probably run through the center of these full moon connectors that run the length of the track, and moving back towards the start of the launch, we can see it will wrap around this mechanism. And this is a little more complicated. If you've ever seen Top Thrill Dragster launch, you know that the farthest pulley is tensioned and is able to move. Now coming back and looking at this entire overview here of the top hat, you can see we got some heart lining on both sides. And we have a nice, have some cross supports there that in the shape of an X. One of my roller coasters that I made when I was a kid was called X Factor. It had some X supports, so I thought I'd do a little homage to that. I'll put a pic in the video somewhere in here. The shaping on this looks a little strange. It looks a little sharp at this top crossbeam here. But if you look at Xcelerator and other Xcelerator coasters from Intamin, you can see that they have this similar shape, and it's just kind of the heart lining. And let's see if I can get a little bit better view of how this works and how it looks. The light's a little weird here, but you can see there's some heart lining. Let's see if I can get a kind of down the line shot here, and it looks pretty good. And I think the strange shape kind of comes from straightening out and going on an angle for a while before cresting the top hat. Overall, I'm relatively happy with the shaping. It took quite a while to do, and I don't see myself changing it anytime soon. However, I think I will need to retrack it, as if I come around, not fall over anything, but come around to the right here, not step on mittens, you can see the top is a little tilted back, so there'll need to be some retracking to straighten that up, but that's alright. Giving you a more head-on view or side view of this heart lining. It's looking pretty good. That's about all that's complete here. Maybe I can get a shot of this pull up and pull out. This was also very difficult to shape, as these bars in the supports, they give an effect, or they give an illusion that the track is straightening or the track is bending too quickly, and it's really hard to go around that. So I actually used, let's see if I can get a shot of it up here, I actually built this contraption, which sat on top of, which I put right on top of here, and I actually used this string here to shape the track to a perfect half circle, which isn't exactly how these pull-ups work, but it gave me a good baseline for what it should look like, and that was good enough for me. Well, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, or as I meant to mention, I'm not actually sure if I did, this will be a basis for many different projects. I've always wanted to get into 3D printing, more heavily into electronics. I have a mechanical engineering degree and I work in tech now, but these hobbies have, they've always been in my interest, and I've never really had something to work on to really expand on them. So building K'nex roller coasters as a kid and being into roller coasters again as an adult kind of gives me an excuse to do something with these, and you know, maybe use an Arduino to automate the full operation of the roller coaster in general. Some 3D printing of probably bogies for this SS Coasters train with some bearings instead of wheels, because the wheels are pretty awful in conserving speed, and that's always been a big limitation with these roller coasters and recreations of them, has been the train. And recently, someone from in the sscoasters.net community named Johnny did 3D print some new bogies with bearings, and they work amazingly. So I'm going to try that out for myself, and I am also going to try to get some type of eddy current magnetic braking. I have done a couple trials. It's a little difficult. I may need some copper instead of aluminum, as it has a little better conductivity, but we'll have to see how that works out. Regardless, this Xcelerator coaster will be a basis for all these hobbies, and I can continue to expand until I'm sick of it and I decide to build a new model. Well, in general, this channel is going to be about engineering, K'nex roller coasters, and probably roller coasters in general, some reviews, and other things like that. So thanks for watching, and hope to see you next time.